Ahoy Mates! Welcome on board Royal Caribbean's Liberty of the Seas, part of the Freedom class of ships. We are here for a 7-night Western Caribbean sailing. And if you're interested in seeing some daily vlogs, a room tour, and some other fun stuff from that, be sure to check out our Liberty of the Seas playlist on our YouTube channel. But for today's video, we want to give you a full and complete ship tour here. Show you the entire vessel, all of the public spaces that we can. So we're going to head down to deck number 1. We're going to work our way up. We're going to go deck by deck, all the way back up to the top. So let's go ahead and get it started. Royal Caribbean's Liberty of the Seas. Alright, so deck number 1 is where we will begin our tour, and per the usual, there is not too much to see on deck 1. A boarding area towards the front, a boarding area in the aft, at the midship rear elevators, but they'll also find our one and only thing that we need to show here, which is the medical facility. So it's going to be opposite of the gangway. You can see it here. We have the signs up on the wall with the hours posted and the contact information, and then you head inside there if you need to go in. And that's it for deck number 1. Let's head up to deck number 2. All right, up on deck number 2 now. This seems like a good time to point out one of the most important navigational features of this ship and other Freedom and even Voyager class ships, which is Studio B, which we're going to get to on deck 3, is located right here. And because of that, you cannot transverse on deck 2 or actually deck 3 either. So if you were, for instance, wanting to get to the conference center, but you're here, or we are at the rear midship elevators, you won't be able just to walk down the hall and go to it. You would actually need to go up to deck 4, go across, and then come back down. Again, because Studio B is here, there's a backstage area, so you cannot cross there. So the only thing, as you can see on the deck map here, to see on deck number 2 besides staterooms is that conference center. We're in the back, so I'm going to walk up to 4, go across to the forward elevators and stairs, then come back down to 2 to go to the conference center. All right, back on deck 2. So again, I was here, I went up on 4, came across, back down to the forward elevators and stairs on deck number 2, and that is where we will find our conference center. You do have a desk here. Sometimes there will be a receptionist of some kind. They can assist you with things that you need there, and then we'll turn around and find the actual entrance to the conference center, which is currently closed as they are having a private function. That is the purpose of the conference center. I have seen conference centers on every Royal Caribbean ship I have cruised on. They pretty much look all exactly the same. If we were able to go through those doors, it would be a small hallway, and then it would have a couple of conference rooms right off on the side. It's really not too much to see. It is kind of a cool space because you're located under this like really fancy and ornate staircase and the plants up above. But if you need a private function room, you need a space to do some business or have a party or something like that, you could use the conference center. That's gonna do it for deck 2. Let's head up to deck number 3. Up on deck 3 right now, and this is a great reminder of what I was talking about. You see it says no through access to Centrum, again because of Studio B. So here at the forward we have one thing to show, then I'm gonna have to go back up, come back over on 4, and go back down to show you the rest of 3. But let's turn and find our one thing here at the forward part of deck number 3 as we come down that magnificent staircase that we saw below at the conference center, which is right there. You can see it through. We turn and we see these glass doors. What do they go to? You have to come up this staircase here to see that it is for the Platinum, which is the theater on board. The Broadway style theater has different kind of shows, headliner acts. They usually have a Broadway show, Saturday Night Fever. Unfortunately for our sailing, it's not going to happen because something with the stage is broken that they're trying to fix. But this is where you would come for the Platinum Theater. You can actually enter here on deck 3 is the main entrance. You can also enter on deck 4 for the upper level. The theater is currently closed, but we did take a shot of it when we went in for a performance, so that'll give you an idea of what that's like at the Platinum Theater. And with that, once again, we have finished the forward part of deck 3. I'm going to take this nice staircase I'm standing on back up to 4, head to the back again, and go back down to 3 so we can see what's back there. All right, back on deck 3, and this is the last time we'll have to talk about going up to transverse because of Studio B, because after this point we'll be able to walk across the decks until we get to the very top, and that's a different story. So Back on deck 3, we took care of the theater at the front, just had some staterooms. Now we're going to show all of this part. So let's turn here first and head to the back. And what we'll find is Rembrandt. Now this is the name of one of the main dining rooms, or should I say main dining floors, because it's actually all just one room. They have 3 different floors though. So Rembrandt's here, then they have Michelangelo and Botticelli. So they have all the information here, times and hours. They'll have menus for the day posted on these digital boards outside, and then you head inside to the actual dining room itself. And here's what it looks like inside the main dining room. So the fancy chandeliers, of course, tablecloths, big porthole windows around the side. And then you can see up to deck 4, which I believe is Michelangelo, deck 5, which is Botticelli. I might have those backwards. We'll see when we get up to the other decks. But again, it's all one dining room. Look at the massive chandelier in the middle. They have the ornate staircase right there in the middle as well, heading up to those other decks. And you can just take it all in. As I said, it's all one big room, but separated by the different floors. They'll usually use that for my time dining, or a floor for early seating, late seating. Right now they're doing vaccinated, non-vaccinated, stuff like that. So anyone who's coming to the main dining room, it will be in this room. It just matters which floor you're on. You'll find that on your C-Pass card and any of your other respective information. Whoa, and as we head out, I gotta show you this. This is like Haunted Mansion here. The busts that follow you home. That is really cool. So that's the very aft part, very back part of the deck is the main dining room. Now we're gonna walk forward here. In between the midship elevators and stairs, we'll find the art gallery. Of course, they have different pieces of art on display that you can purchase. I'm going to speak to someone from Park West about that. They'll usually be here at these desks during their appropriate operating hours, but all kinds of art strewn about that you can find, even like statues and things like that. They'll do some contests here, have some art auctions, different stuff. The art will continue, as you can see forward there. They have quite a lot on this ship, but we are now entering on air. Now, on air has always kind of been talked about as basically like a sports bar. This is usually where they would show live sports, and that's what they were doing. We boarded on an NFL Sunday. They had NFL games playing in here, but they've also been using this space for various things. They've been showing movies in here on a big projector screen, which they don't have down right now because the Jumbotron, the big screen up at the pool deck, which we'll see in a little bit, is currently broken. So they've been showing movies in here. They've been having contests in here, karaoke in here, different things. So you have the stage there in the middle, have all the tables and chairs, booth seating in the back. And again, the artwork continues along the back wall. They also have a bar over here to the right. And we have to pass through on air to find Studio B, that troublesome Studio B that's been making us transverse and go to different various decks. Studio B Center Ice, this is where they will have the ice skating shows, free ice skating sessions that you can partake in. Just make sure you have long pants and socks to do that. As you can see, it's currently closed, but we did come in here for the ice skating show and did film a little bit, so you're seeing that right now. It looks just about like every other Studio B that you could find. It's got the, you know, kind of bleacher style seating. Well, they're chairs, but it's tiered seating, I guess is the more appropriate term. On other ships, they would do laser tag. Liberty did not receive royal amplification yet. That was delayed, so it does not have that currently. So there we go. We saw the theater, Studio B, on air, and the dining room, the rest of staterooms. That means we have completed deck number 3. We're on to deck 4. All right, up on deck number 4 now, and as you can see, we are at the midship or rear, some people say, elevators and stairs. As we turn to go aft towards the back of the ship, we will find Michelangelo, or Michelangelo if you prefer, or whatever you'd like to say. This is just the next level up in the main dining room that we already saw. So we're not gonna go back in there because we already seen it, but this is where you would enter if that was your assigned space. Now, before we start proceeding forward on deck 4, I did want to point out that there are doors on either side here, starboard or port. Let's head out on the starboard side. You want to hit these buttons on the wall to open up those doors, and this takes you out to this kind of like, some call it like promenade deck or whatever, and there's just chairs out randomly. I think shuffleboard is somewhere around here if I'm not mistaken, and you can take this pretty much all the way around If you head forward, which will pop out more forward, that will take you to the helipad, and you can also go rear and around the main dining room, get a nice wake view on the back. So just keep that in mind. That's an option here on deck 4. Let's head back inside. So back at the entrance to the dining room, we're going to turn, pass over this nice little wooden bridge here between the midship elevators and stairs, and we will find the intricate stair system here of the back. So you can look straight down and see the art gallery and the entrance to On Air, where we were just a few minutes ago, and then you can go to either side here. So on the starboard side is just kind of a sitting area, just some tables, chairs, a little bit of a lounge space. Over on the port side, we'll find additional lounge space, but we'll also find boleros, which of course is the Latin lounge. They'll have Latin music here in the evening. You can see the stage over there, live performances, have a little bit of a dance floor here should you decide to partake in that. And then of course plenty of seating, tables, chairs, got the nice large porthole windows out the side there. Now heading forward once again, we come into the Focus photo gallery. Of course, this is where you can view and purchase any of the photos the photographers have taken on board for you. They have had them out on various nights, various locales, different backdrops, outside the ship and port, things like that. So they have an assistance desk back there if you need help with this. Of course, it is self-serve. You can just come up, tap your SeaPass card, and view and purchase your photos. Have this nice couch here. They have a GoPro stand selling different GoPros and equipment, and they also sell additional items back over here at the retail center. So they have some like instant print cameras, some SanDisk cards, microphone straps, batteries. They do these like crystal etched glass things, and they have some over here as well, more instant cameras. So lots of merchandise, lots of screens for you to come in and check out your pictures here at the Focus Photo Gallery. Oh, and there's a cool photo op over there to put yourself in the frame. But as we leave the Focus Photo Gallery, we will enter, what else? Casino Royale. And I think this one has one of the coolest entrances of any ship we've been on. With all these paintings, all the old school kind of stuff that you know and love, Casablanca. And then over on this side, we have the Rat Pack over there, with Dino, Sammy, and Frank. And then my favorite, one of my favorite movies, Ocean's 11. So we got Brad and George and Julia and Andy and Matt all over there in character, ready to go. Pretty cool. Now as we come in between these cool paintings that I was going on about, they do have some table games like 3-card poker, baccarat, stuff like that. And then we have single deck blackjack and a roulette table. And then you enter the slot machine portion of the casino. These are spread throughout. Of course, they have the cashier station over here on the left and the casino desk. I think it's like the casino host desk right here as you come in as well. But then the slot machines will be spread throughout. They're all over the place. Many different kinds, and on both sides of the ship. So this is a pretty large casino. Not as big as an Oasis class ship, of course, but what is? Nothing. That's why they are the biggest, literally, in the world. But yeah, the slot machines just continue on throughout here. Different sides, different kinds, and you can proceed through there. So the starboard side is all slot machines, or the coin pushers, or claw games, things like that. You do have an ATM and a ticket machine here. No, is this an ATM? Yeah, I think this is actually an ATM. They do have ticket machines as well. But then if we come over here to the port side, you'll see that this is where they have table games, additional table games, single deck blackjack, ultimate Texas Hold'em, standard blackjack, 3-card poker, all kinds of different stuff. And you see that they do have the televisions mounted up above, which are usually showing live sports, as they are right now. And then when we turn into the middle, we will find our casino bar, centrally located, very convenient for anyone who's playing. And beyond that, we do have the fun multicolor changing light staircase. This would take us up to the Royal Promenade, which we'll get to in just a little bit. As we proceed forward here, just the slot machines and table games continue. Anything you could want, you could pretty much find in the casino here, and end it with the cash crane. What else? Exiting Casino Royale now, we enter a Royal Caribbean tried and true classic. You can find this on every ship. It is the Schooner Bar. That is the nautical themed bar. That's why you'll find the dark woods, the ropes, the mast, the ship's wheel, and it is the piano bar. So they'll have nightly live piano entertainment there. You also have, of course, the bar. It is the Schooner Bar. So the bar right there as you come in, large porthole windows on the side, plenty of seating, lots of fun going on in the Schooner Bar. And now we find ourselves back at the staircase where I showed you the Platinum Theater. But we need to turn because there's something hidden here, which is Sabor, modern Mexican. We dined here on one of the nights of our sailing. We thoroughly enjoyed it. This is getting a little harder to find, like they removed it from Oasis of the Seas and added playmakers. So not as many Sabor locations available, but we really enjoyed it for our sailing. So we highly recommend checking that out when you're on board Liberty of the Seas. So again, showed you the Platinum entrance there, but we come around because I mentioned earlier that you could also enter the theater from the upper deck, deck 4. So if we come in the middle here, which is where most people would think to go, you can see it's just glass here. And it's actually open air at this part down to the main entrance. But you can see across when they have the curtains open into the theater, which is pretty cool. If you actually want to enter the theater from deck 4, you have to come around to the side here and enter these doors, and then if those doors are open, you could go in. Of course, they're not right now, but that takes you into the theater that we already saw. But before we leave deck 4, I mentioned earlier that you can come outside, head forward, and find the helipad. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Again, we're gonna have these same doors, hit the button to open them up, come outside to this outer deck, just below the lifeboats. You wanna turn and head forward to the front part of the ship. You'll find this staircase. It is available on starboard or port side. You're gonna head up the staircase and keep going forward and you'll find the helipad. Now the helipad isn't always available. Sometimes they'll have this gate closed that closed due to high wind. That does happen on this sailing. But if it is open, you're free to proceed. Don't want to go that way, that's a crew only area. So you want to just keep heading forward here, head up the little stairs there, and that puts you on the helipad. And you get a great view because you're looking directly forward, the most forward you can be on the ship, so you can see where you're headed, see the open ocean, or if you're in port like we are right now, you can come up and get a good look at that. We're in Cozumel today, so you can get a nice view of the port as well. You can look back at the ship and see the different ocean view rooms they have with the big porthole windows on the front there. You can look up to the bridge. You can see the panoramic ocean view, floor to ceiling windows, and those rooms up at the top there as well. Before we head back down and go back inside, I wanted to point out these doors here, which head into the Star Lounge, which we'll show you in just a minute. So if the Star Lounge is open, and if these doors, you can access them, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, you could use these doors as well to come out and head forward to the helipad. All right, let's head back inside. And with the helipad access point taken care of, we have finished deck number 4. Let's go to 5. Deck number 5 now, and this is where the party really begins. Things get a little intense here. There's a lot to see on this deck. Starting with the Star Lounge, which you can find all the way forward here on deck 5, aside from the helipad that we already saw. So we head in here, and did want to point out on the right when we come in, the Connoisseur Club, and as the signs say here, Pinnacle Club Lounge. So they have this space set up as a little lounge area. I guess they're using it just for Pinnacle members right now, which is interesting. But it's a nice little lounge, nice and quiet in here. I like the cat statues in the back. Now we can proceed forward into the actual Star Lounge area. As you can see, this is a pretty large venue. Those were the doors I was talking about earlier to get out to the helipad. And then they have the sound and video booth back here. Tables and chairs right when you enter, and all throughout. Large booth seating on the perimeter, and then we have our stage in the middle. So they'll do different activities in here, sometimes karaoke, sometimes game shows, performances, different kind of things, live music, all kinds of different things. Want to point out that they do have the pretty large bar back here in the corner. So the only thing more forward than the Star Lounge is the helipad. So now we're going to turn and head aft, see the rest of the ship on this deck. So across from the Star Lounge, we can look up all the way through the elevator and stairwell bay. Got the nice natural light coming in from the big windows up there. We can turn and see all the themed lighting inside this area, because of course we find ourselves in the Royal Promenade. Got the big Texas flag there. We are sailing from Galveston, so they put that up there. So let's go ahead and begin our tour of the promenade here. Mostly going to be shops, but there are some eateries as well. So we start here on the port side. We have the Fashion Boutique. This is a store that's selling purses and bags, watches, different kinds of jewelry. Of course, all the stores are closed right now because we are in port. I'm just gonna go down this side, the port side, and then we'll circle back and do the starboard side of the promenade here. The next thing that we find is the pub on board, which is the Hoof and Claw. So this is our standard English pub, British pub, whatever you want to call it. All the dark woods, leather seating. They do have a small stage here for performances, and of course the bar in the back. Couldn't be a pub if you didn't have the bar. Got high tops and booth seating in the back there. Really intimate space, gets very lively in the evenings. All right, next thing we have up here is the logo Souvenir. Some call it the Royal Caribbean shop. This is gonna have all of your Royal Caribbean branded merchandise featuring the crown and anchor and the name of the ship you're on. Of course, we're on Liberty of the Seas, so you can see they have the Spirit jerseys, they have hoodies, t-shirts, dresses, swim shirts, toys, ship models, keychains, lanyards, magnets, all kinds of crown and anchor merchandise, Royal Caribbean merchandise inside the logo and souvenir shop. Next thing we have is our general store. And as the window displays will show you here, this is where you're going to find your alcohol, your snacks, smokes, things like that. Things that you will consume are going to be inside the general store. I believe you can also find like toiletry items in there as well, if I'm not mistaken. Continuing forward, we do have a Voom kiosk here. So I think they kind of move around where they're actually going to be at, but they do have their hours of operation. If you need to speak to someone about internet, if they're here, you could do that. You can also visit guest services. Of course, they can help you as well. And next up, we have the one location on board that's open 24 hours a day. That is the Cafe Promenade. You see there's plenty of tables, chairs, seating inside. When you first come in, they have the bar area that serves alcoholic drinks, but it also serves coffees, specialty coffee drinks. If you have a beverage package, those are included with that. They do have Starbucks products, and they will have food throughout the day. So at breakfast, they'll have pastries and fruit. At lunch, they'll have like sandwiches, things like that. You have cookies, little dessert items. In the back here, they'll have drinks. In the morning, they might have juice, like orange juice or something. Right now, they have water and tea. And this is where you can get your standard coffee, regular or decaf, which of course is included with your cruise fare. Here in the middle, they do have the accoutrement section. You can get your sugar substitute, cream, things like that, and a selection of teas that you can make there as well. Cafe Promenade also has seating out here on the actual promenade, which is pretty cool as well. Did want to point out there's a stairwell here, as the sign says, photo gallery. That'll take you back down into focus where we were earlier. Right next door to that is the next cruise desk. Of course, this is where you come if you want to purchase and book your next cruise. They have the hours of operation in there. Everyone always asks us, is it a good deal? Yes, it's the same deal that you would get if you booked online or with us as your travel agent directly without being on board, except they're going to give you an onboard credit for your troubles, basically, so to speak. So if you want to talk more about that, feel free to reach out, but they do have that here, and they'll have the different itineraries that are coming out that you might want to take a look at. They can get you all settled inside there at the next cruise desk. And there are more things to see behind me on deck number 5, but that would technically be outside of the Royal Promenade. So now we're going to go back down and see everything on the starboard side inside the actual promenade. So on the starboard side, the first thing we come to is get out there. As you can see, they have the roller skater, the cyclist, the rock climber. This is going to be like an active wear and an active sports shop. So they have all kinds of different clothing, merchandise. They have like swimwear, hats. They even have shoes inside, bags, on the go, active kind of stuff, keychains. They even have aloe, sunscreen, things like that in there. There's some really fun stuff inside that store, and that's not a common one. You don't always see that, so that's pretty cool. Next door to that, we do have the Cupcake Cupboard. They are actually selling cupcakes in here. Not right now because we're in port and it is closed, but they usually would have a selection of cupcakes for purchase here in the display case, and you can see the pricing of what those cupcakes might go for. Ooh, a giant cupcake, $29.95. I wonder how big it is. That's pretty cool. They usually also have a kiosk here with merchandise for sale. A lot of cute stuff that has what else but cupcakes and baking and sweet kind of stuff on it. When they're open, you could find that there. Next door to the Cupcake Cupboard, we're going to keep the sweet treats continuing. We have Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So you see our friends Jen and Barry, the cows up there. That's what we named them. So it's the name it suggests. This is an ice creamery. You can go inside. Hello. You can go inside and get your ice creams, different flavors. They don't have them open right now, but they have them listed on the board back there. Actual Ben & Jerry's flavors. These do come at an additional cost, as you can see on the menu board there. But if you so choose, you can come in here, get your scoop on. Lots of fun to be had. Continuing past Ben & Jerry's, we will find gifts and jewelry. The name pretty much tells the story there. It is a jewelry shop, so they do have jewelry. Necklaces, watches, rings, bracelets, Rolex, different kind of things inside. Now, what would a Royal Caribbean ship be without a nice fancy car and some teddy bear driver and passengers inside? Past the car, we will find vintages. This is the wine bar on board. It also has seating out on the promenade, as does the pub. I didn't mention that, but I figured you could see it there. So we can go inside here to vintages. Again, the wine bar on board. You see all the bottles of wine they have back there. They do have the bar here in the middle, and then they have seating tucked away. Nice big couch there in the back, regular table and chairs. Got the long banquet style table with the stools. Lots of fun, lots of nice decor in here. Got the wood going. Feels very much like a cellar with the bricks and the beams. I think that's what they're going for. Pretty cool. Next up, we find that staircase that I mentioned earlier to Casino Royale. So if you took this one down, this was the one that the lights are changing colors on. That'll take you into the casino right by the bar. Next to that, we will find perfume and cosmetics. I love shops like this because the name tells you exactly what it is. So all kinds of fragrances inside of there, and maybe some like minor makeup items, things like that. Next we have the port and shopping desk. So if you want to speak to the shopping expert, they can give you a map, tell you about all the different shopping areas in the various ports that you're visiting, like Cozumel for today, tell you where to go and where you can find all the things you're looking for. And then our last item, but certainly not least item of the Royal Promenade, is Sorrento's. I love the artwork outside here, very cool. The bricks up above with the artwork on that, so awesome. So of course Sorrento's is the pizza place on board. We do have seating out in the promenade here as well. Seating inside the restaurant continues all the way back into the corner there along the porthole windows that have the Sorrento's Pizza logo on them, which is really cool. And so they have a usually have cheese, vegetarian, and pepperoni every day, and then they have a special. Right now it says Primavera, although I know they had that yesterday. They may have just not changed the sign yet since they're not open right now. Usually have the pizza on display there, and over here they might have some sandwiches or fruit or like sliced meats and cheeses. And in this case, they usually have dessert items, cookies, little cakes, tarts, things like that. And then they do have a bar here as well, so you can get different various drinks. If you have the packages, if you want to use your diamond drinks, or you just want to purchase it a la carte, all of that can happen right here. And with Sorrento's in tow, we have finished up the Royal Promenade, so let's continue on back to the aft section of Deck 5. A couple more things to see back there. Oh, one other thing I want to talk about before we leave the promenade area. You'll see all these glass windows up above all throughout the promenade. These are promenade view rooms, so they are technically interior rooms, but as the name suggests and as the windows would suggest, you have a view of the promenade. So those are available on deck 6, 7, and then on 8 it's like slanted downward so you can get a better view. And if you want to know a little secret, That room right there behind Ben & Jerry's is a special room. Be sure to check out our daily vlogs for more information on that. Oh, and if you want to see a great example of a promenade view room, you can check out our Independence of the Seas playlist. That, of course, is Liberty of the Seas' sister ship. We stayed in a promenade view room, and we'll give you a full tour of that. Again, find that in our Independence of the Seas playlist. All right, deck 5, heading aft. We exit the Royal Promenade area. The first thing we find here is the R bar. So you can see we have our bar off to the right, and then of course tables, chairs, and lounge space all throughout, including this really fun. It's like a picture frame. That's pretty cool. Nice big couch there. Do have the porthole windows on the side, although you are looking right at the lifeboats. So that doesn't do you too much good, but nice to have anyway. At least get some natural light inside the R bar here. So across from the R bar, we do have two things to point out. We have guest services, which of course is where you'll come if you have any questions or any issues with your cruise. Hopefully not, but if you need anything taken care of, you can visit them there. Next to that, the desk just kind of continues, but you see it says up there shore excursions. So if you want to purchase an excursion for the ports, you can do that there as well. We do recommend purchasing those ahead of time on the cruise planner, as they usually are cheaper. But if you need a last minute purchase, you can visit them there. They will take care of that. They also sell some snorkel gear there and goggles and masks, which I wish I would have seen before to Costa May yesterday. Check out our vlog if you want to know what I'm talking about. But you can visit them there. They'll get you all squared away with that. And at the end of the guest services desk, you'll also find that they have the daily cruise compasses printed out. They've actually been leaving them in our room this time. Ever since restart, they haven't been putting the paper compasses in the room. They've kind of been wanting to use the app instead. This sailing, they have been delivering them, so I don't know. If you need them though, you can pick them up here, as well as some information on who the officers of the ship are. There's also another section right over there, but probably more importantly, you can also find an ATM right here should you need cash. One final thing to show here on deck number 5, all the way aft, is Botticelli, which is the top level of the main dining room. So I said we wouldn't come back in since we showed you it down there, but thought you might like to see the view from above. It's just to kind of give you an idea of what all 3 decks might be working with here. So again, all one dining room, just various levels. This is the highest and the last one, Botticelli. We had a lot to see, but we have done it. We finished deck number 5. Let's head up to 6. And with deck number 6, we begin one of our tried and true traditions. We do this every ship tour. Here's where we begin the decks that just have staterooms. So deck number 6, just staterooms, heading up. Deck number 7 only has staterooms as well. Let's go up to number 8. I feel like I'm kind of getting cheated here. Normally we would be able to continue saying staterooms only and going up here on deck number 8, but we do have one small thing to show you here in the back, so let's take a look. So just off the midship elevators, we will find Royal Caribbean online with some lounge space as well, tables, and a nice view of the Royal Promenade. But this is an area you can come and use computers, access the internet if you don't have a device to do that on your own. You can also print things should you need to do so. Okay, not too bad, just that one little thing. Let's go to 9. Up on deck number 9 now, kind of a repeat of deck 8, mostly staterooms, but there is one little thing here off the midship elevators, which is the library. Unfortunately, I think due mostly to COVID protocol, there are no books in the library right now. Normally this is where they would be, but not all is lost. You do have some comfortable seating and tables here, and again you can take in that view of the Royal Promenade, so that's pretty cool. You can also look up at the art, and even further up, get that natural light out of the windows. Wow, deck number 9 was so easy. 9 had me feeling fine, but it's time to go up to 10. All right, we're tic-tac-toeing here. 8, 9, 10, all the same. It's mostly staterooms except one little thing right off the midship elevators, and this one little thing on 10 is the card room, which you can find right here. Now, I tried to go in this the other day, and they had it set up. It almost looked like for COVID testing or something really special in particular. I don't know if it's open right now. Yeah, I just tried to open the door and it's locked. So I don't think they're actually utilizing this as a card room right now. I think they have it set up for a special space, but normally this is where you'd find the card room on deck 10. And that's it for deck number 10, and that's it for the easy decks as well. We're heading up to 11. It's a big one. All right, deck number 11, this is going to be one of our more intense decks, along with deck 5 that we did the promenade on, because there's so much to see here. This is the main pool deck, and it's not just that. We're here at the midship elevators. We turn to go aft, and what do we find? We find the Windjammer buffet, as well as some specialty restaurants. So they'll have the hours of operation posted here. Windjammer's back open for dinner, yes! And right now you do need to sanitize. They actually don't have hand washing stations at this Windjammer, so you're going to sanitize, and you need to scan in your SeaPass card before you go in and then when you come out as well. So once you've sanitized your hands and you've scanned in, you're good to go. They do have some bench seating right when you come in here, which is interesting. I'm not really sure what that's for. This is where you will scan out, because this Windjammer, as a lot of them are, is kind of one big circle. So they'll usually have one side open unless it's busy, like at breakfast. As you can see there, they have it stanchioned off on that side. Wanted to point out though, right when you come in, you will find the Plaza Bar. So if you want to get a bar drink, that is where you will do it. We'll turn to our left here. Let's go around and begin on the starboard side. So the first thing we come to is Giovanni's Table, which of course is a specialty restaurant on board. Italian restaurant, so that's coming at an additional cost. When we say specialty restaurant, that's what it means. So this is what it looks like inside Giovanni's. They have the nice big windows along the side there. Tables and chairs throughout, of course, because it is a dining establishment, and it even goes further back into the second room there, so you have a great view when you're dining here at Giovanni's Table. Continuing past Giovanni's, this is where we're going to start seeing a lot of the same. So I'm not going to keep pointing it out, but there are obviously plenty of tables, chairs, bar rail seating, 2 tops, 4 tops, 6 top, 8 top, all throughout, and a lot of the seats and tables are along those big picturesque windows which continue around the entire perimeter of the Windjammer, other than where we just came in. And then they have more tables and chairs in the middle. Now on the interior is where they are actually serving the food, and I'm not going to show what they're serving because that changes. If you're curious to see, we have shown what they serve on a various day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so be sure to check out our daily vlogs in our Liberty of the Seas playlist, and you can find all that information there. So it just continues throughout, different levels, different areas, different food servicing stations, and various drink and beverage stations as well. There is no outdoor seating here at this Windjammer like you might see on a Radiance class ship or on a Quantum class ship. Sometimes they have outdoor seating. This one does not, but you do have the picturesque windows all throughout. And then the other side, the port side, is a mirror image of what we just saw here on the starboard side, except for one thing back at the entrance. Let's go check that out. Back at the entrance of the Windjammer here, you see the Plaza Bar there. Over on the starboard side, you'll see Giovanni's Table where we went in. This is the one difference that I was talking about on the port side, which is Chop's Grill. This is another specialty restaurant coming at an additional cost, but this is Royal Caribbean Steakhouse. They'll have the menu posted outside here, and here's what it looks like inside of Chop's Grill. Of course, so a little bit of a fancier affair here. They do have the big picture windows all along the outside, just like we saw at Giovanni's Table, though they have the blinds in here. And then this also continues into a second room, which has the giant, I think it's a champagne bottle there in the middle, which is pretty cool. And they have the wine store on the back side. So it's actually a decent sized space. So the Windjammer and those specialty restaurants take up the entire aft portion of Deck 11. So we're now going to turn, go through the elevators here, head forward, and head outside. So outside here on Deck 11, of course, this is the pool deck. We're going to be seeing all kinds of water features on this deck, including Splash Away Bay, the kids' water splash area right when we come out. This is a fantastic area for the kids. It has a nice big tube slide there, some smaller climber areas and smaller slides. They have the big bucket that fills up and dumps all the water onto the kids. And I really like here is they have this waterfall, and at night they keep it going and they have colorful lights and stuff. It's a really cool looking area, great night aesthetic, trademark Hop and Happy Travels. But what I also like is that they have a couple hot tubs here right next to Splash Away Bay, so parents can sit there, relax in the hot tub. Of course, there are loungers all throughout, and they're going to be all around the deck. I won't keep pointing them out, so you can sit here and relax and keep an eye on your kiddos. Now, right when we exit and come out on Deck 11 from the Windjammer and the midship elevators, on the starboard side here, we will find the Patty 5-Star Dive Center. This is where you can sign up for different diving classes. They have their hours of operation posted on the wall outside here, and they also do sell merchandise like goggles, masks, snorkels, things like that inside as well. So now I'm walking across to the port side, across from the Patty 5-Star Dive Center. Wanted to point out that they do have swim vests here for those who may need it. I think you can find those in other locales around the pool deck as well. But on the port side, you will find Squeeze, which is a bar They have, you can get different drinks there. If you have a refreshment package, you can get non-alcoholic drinks. If you have the deluxe beverage package, you can pretty much get whatever you want. And they do have stools all the way around the bar and right up on the window so you can take in the beautiful view. So still here on the port side, and as we proceed into the main pool area, I wanted to point out on the port side is the smoking section. So if you're wanting to look for a place to smoke, this is where you want to come. But you'll see this sign says Sprinkles over to the right. So if we go over to the starboard side, we can find Sprinkles, which is the soft serve ice cream location. Let's take a look at that. And there's our sign designating Sprinkles. You can see they got the soft serve right there. So just head up, tell them what you want, and they will get that for you. Now as we turn and head forward, we enter the main pool deck area. Of course, lots and lots of lounge chairs here as well. Freshwater showers. They do have a stage here in the middle where they will have live music performances. Again, additional swim vests there should you need them. And then the outdoor Jumbotron, big screen, whatever you want to call it, which is not working for this sailing, but that is where it's located. Normally would be able to take in films or different special showings there. So here's a look at the main pool area. There's a pool on either side. I think though, to give you the best idea, it would be good to go up and give you an overview. So I'm gonna head upstairs. We're gonna kind of cheat here, go up to deck 12 just to give you an overview of this section, and then we'll come back to 11. And since we're up here, go ahead and give you an overview of the Splashaway Bay area as well. All right, here's what we came for, our good overview of the main pool area. Again, you can see the big screen right there. Oops, sorry about that. Right there is the big screen. And then we have our two main pools. So we have the large one on this side and about the same size over on that side. They do have shelves built into them as well. So this actually has water in it. It's just not a deep in, not like the deep actual pool part, but the water does flow up on that. And I wanted to point out, they do have a hot tub jacuzzi there out uncovered in the open air, and then they do have two here as well that are also open air, but they are covered, so you can get some shade if you don't want to be in the direct sun, or maybe if it's raining or something like that, you can use those two hot tubs there. Of course, all the different space around on both sides, it's pretty much the same down there, and then it goes right over into the pool bar area. So the pool bar is central down there, so both sides can easily access it. All right, let's head back down to deck 11. All right, back on deck 11, here's a better look at the pool bar. Of course, you get all your drinks there. Now, I wanted to point out, the port side and the starboard side are essentially the same at this point, but there are a couple minor differences. So when we come over to the starboard side, because the port side is just lounge chairs until you get into the Solarium, which we'll get to in just a second, but the starboard side of the ship has other things. So we do have our lifeguard station. We need to speak to someone about lifeguard assistance there. And we do have our towel station. You can rent towels, check them out here, scan them out, they'll get those for you to use at the pool or in the port. And they do have additional swim vests here as well. And as we proceed forward on deck 11, either starboard or port side, you're going to enter the Solarium, which is an adult only area, although they consider it 16 and up for the Solarium. So let's head inside. So the Solarium really is going to be a mirror image. You're going to have these comfortable couches and tables. Of course, the large windows. There's going to be glass all throughout the Solarium, and the hot tub built out on the side, the cantilever whirlpool there, and tables and chairs, wooden swing, all of that. On the starboard side, you're going to see basically the exact same thing over on the port side. So what we really want to talk about is the stuff in the middle here. We do have our Solarium Pool with the nice toucan tile mosaic statues and our glass bridge that goes across. Here's the pool, and it actually gets really deep, almost 7 feet deep in this pool. It can get very cold, as I found out on one of our days. And I want to point out, you can see they're sitting at there's like a bar rail that goes across, and there's stools inside the water, and you can actually get in the pool on either side. So you can get in on this side, you can get in on that side, and there's stools in the water. You can use that bar rail either way. And speaking of bars, as we turn around here in the middle, we will find the world famous Solarium Bar. Of course, you can get all of your drinks here. Okay, so we're inside and forward on deck 11 now. So just to kind of give an overview, we did the Windjammer, we saw the bar, the two specialty restaurants, Splashaway Bay, the main pool, the Solarium with the pool and bar. One more thing here on deck 11 is the spa and fitness center, which we will find all the way forward. As we enter on deck 11, we'll actually first find the fitness center, the Ship Shape Fitness Center, open 6:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. They do have a desk here if you need to talk to someone about some treatments or different kind of classes or things like that. When they're there, you can speak to them. We do have this big, I think they do like instructional stuff here, maybe some group classes here occasionally. In this room, they do have the spin machines for the spin classes. They have yoga mats for yoga classes, exercise balls, different things like that. And as we proceed forward, you see you're going to have the big picturesque floor-to-ceiling windows all the way around. All your resistance machines, your treadmills, your ellipticals, all that kind of stuff is going to be going throughout here. They do have TVs mounted to the ceiling for those who are in the back sections. Forward sections can look out right at the windows, and it looks like some of these machines do have TV built into them as well, so you can take in any of those. They do have fresh towels here if you want to wipe things down, sanitize the equipment before you use it. Do have wipes here that you can use for that. And they also have a small rack of dumbbells and larger ones, free weights, over there as well. And right here at the entrance and exit point, you'll see it says changing sauna and steam. They do have a men and women's side for that, so you can enter there if you need those rooms. As we see the statue of a man or a boy, I don't know who that is, standing on a large tortoise. Not really sure what that's about, but you'll see the stairwell behind, the spiral staircase that goes up to the spa. We will get to that in just a minute. We are done with deck 11. Let's head up to number 12. Much like deck 11, deck 12 is action-packed as well. So we are currently deck 12 forward. One thing to see here is the aforementioned spa, the Vitality Spa. Let's go inside. So right, we come in, we have the reception desk here, and then over on the left we have the hair and beauty salon, so you can get your hair treatments in there and nail treatments as well. And they have a variety of spa products that you can purchase here. And then down this hallway is a treatment area with different treatment rooms, and this hallway is also a treatment area with different treatment rooms. So it's not the biggest spa in the world, but they have what you need. And that's the only thing on deck 12 forward is the spa. So now we're gonna head outside and head aft, see the rest of it. And as we exit the interior forward portion of deck 12, we'll come outside. We're back in the open air. You can look down into the solarium, the solarium pool area. And we'll continue back here. Now I did want to point out, you'll see these stairs behind us. They are on both sides, starboard and port. Those technically head up to deck 13. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Now as we proceed forward here, I wanted to point out that there is another set. Or I said proceed forward, we're actually going aft. I'm sorry, heading aft. Did want to point out a couple things. So first, you'll see the jogging track here, because this is the jogging deck, so it goes around, not the whole deck, but a decent portion of it. I'll show you in just a second. But wanted to point out this stairwell, because this technically isn't really anything, so I don't know that it's assigned to a particular deck. I suppose it would be deck 13 if it was, so I may be cheating a little bit, but it's just a big open space. Sometimes they have lounge chairs up here. It's kind of just a sunning area, maybe like an observation deck platform, if you want to call it that, so you can get a good overview of the main pool area, see the rest of the ship, see the port that you're in, or see the open ocean, of course, if you're out at sea. You can also come back to this side and look back down into the solarium pool area if you would like to do so. So here's a good idea to get a layout of the jogging track. You saw it back there. It goes around here, goes past the little bridge that goes behind the Jumbotron, and it continues on to where the glass is back there, and it cuts across behind the Splashaway Bay, makes the loop, comes around, and back to where we just saw it. So that is the jogging track. You'll find it here on deck 12. The rest of it, it's sunning space. There's lounge chairs on the starboard side. There's lounge chairs on the port side for you to come and get your sun on. You can walk across in the middle there. You can walk across further back. That's pretty much it for this section of deck 12. It's just like the observation, running platform, and the sunning station. So that's where you'll come for all those things, but there's not really too much to show here. So I'm gonna head back down. We're gonna go further back to deck 12. There's lots of stuff to see back there. All right, we're in the aft portion of deck 12, and we can go inside. There are a lot of things to see there, but I'm actually going to stay outside, kind of do the perimeter here, and then we'll go inside. So as you can see here on the signs, we do have a couple areas, the living room and fuel we'll get to in just a minute. I'm going to show you Johnny Rockets first. All right, as the sign suggests, this is Johnny Rockets. Now this is an additional cost venue. It is kind of what you would call like a set pricing. So they have one charge that you pay, and then you can pretty much get whatever you want. Other than milkshakes, those are an additional cost, but the food is what's included with that cover charge. Did want to point out that they do have outdoor booths here. These are hard plastic, so they're not the most comfortable, but if you want to sit outside, it is covered. I will say if it's raining, the rain tends to kind of splash in, so just keep that in mind. But of course you can go inside as well and eat inside the diner style venue. So you can see here, got the booths all throughout. They have the tables right at the bar, the little jukeboxes at each table and section, which don't actually work, but they're fun. They play the old school music in here, and you can get all your grub on at Johnny Rockets. We love this venue. Now past Johnny Rockets, we come to the very aft part of the ship. And you can see here, we got some surfboard bars and stools there, which is a lot of fun. As we turn, you'll see it says fuel here, which is a teens area, but as you can see, no entrance here. Please enter through the challenges video arcade. We'll get to all of that in just a little bit. Wanted to point out, stairs go up here as it says to the FlowRider. We'll get to that in just a second as well, but you can come around here to the back, all the way around, take in the beautiful view of the port, but more importantly, if you're actually sailing and you're at sea, you can get that lovely wake view that we all know and love. They even have some bench seating back here as well. Now on the outside portion here of deck 12, but on the port side, see the fun little sun gates there, and we'll see like the checkerboard stuff. This is because this is a little fun play area. So they do have the ping pong tables, but inside, which you can't actually use these doors to go in, but inside these doors is Adventure Ocean, which of course is the kids space on board. So that's why you're gonna have this stuff out here, because sometimes they'll come out and play little games, like they have a hopscotch board up here and things like that. But I did want to point out that's where you can find the ping pong tables on board. Again, here on the port side of deck 12, no entrance from any of these doors. You have to come in from the main area. That is for safety and security reasons. But that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna take a cut into the right and head inside, check out deck 12 interior. So right when we come in, we see the entrance to Adventure Ocean for the Aquanauts ages 3 to 5, and on the other side, the starboard side, is the entrance for Royal Babies and Tots, as well as the living room, the teen space on board. So we're gonna do these outer portions first, starting with this side, and then we'll head into the middle. So we follow the fun themed carpet past the bamboo, past the palm trees, down the hallway, into the main entrance and check-in area. So you go right through here for the actual Aquanauts Room. The 3 to 5 again, they have their hours and operation, everything right there. And so this is what the room looks like inside. We got a hand washing station here, looks like an activity center there, table and chairs. And even have like a activity area over here, and this little boat play area as well. Kind of goes up top there too. And now on the starboard side, we have the entrance for Adventure Ocean, but the Royal Babies and Tots. So of course this is for the younger, even younger children than on the other side. So you just follow this back here. You see we have some restrooms here on the left-hand side. And then we find the entrance to the Royal Babies and Tots, which is not open right now, but you can see inside the window. They have like a little play area there, wash your hands, different things like that. And across from Royal Babies and Tots, we find the living room, which is a teen area on board. So inside the living room area, we have a sectional couch, some fun big chairs there, another couch pointed at the TV station. And they do have a bar here in the middle, of course, serving up juice or soda, different things like that. And you can actually exit out over there and go towards, I think Johnny Rockets is back over there. A big couch wrapping around, some nice windows here inside the living room, and I really like the fun art up on the wall. Okay, so just to kind of recap where we are, we saw the Aquanaut space. Explorer's room was beyond that, but the kids are in there, so we couldn't show that to you. It's kind of just, you know, a bigger play area, bigger activity area. We saw the entrance to the nursery, and we saw the living room. So now we're going to go in the middle here, starting with the Challengers Arcade. And there we see it on the sign, Challengers Video Arcade, as well as Adventure Ocean, because this is all kind of the same area. But the arcade's free for anyone to, well, not free, but it's available for anyone to use. It does come at an additional cost, though I will give you my favorite tip with the arcade. If you know you're going to play in the arcade on board your sailing, purchase your arcade credits ahead of time on the cruise planner. You will get a discount of 20%. So I do encourage that. The only thing with the arcade right now is that a lot of the machines are shut down. So every machine in this hallway is shut down due to COVID protocols. Now once you get inside the actual arcade here, it's kind of like every other machine is shut down. So some are open and available to use, like the Laughing Madness here, one of our favorites. You have the Plucky Ducky, that's open, but then the Bling King is closed. Then you have the E-Claw, which is open, but then the Stacker game is closed. This Stacker's open. So it's kind of every other one to give distancing and keep things safe. We do have the curved or banked air hockey table as well. So this is not a large arcade. It's not the smallest one we've ever seen either. I'd say it's pretty medium. It does have a prize hub, which is always great. So you can redeem those virtual tickets by using your card there in the machine to get various prizes. They do have a lot of options. It's just, again, that they're not all currently open right now. But different racing games, different shooting games. They have little hoops, the big bass, all kinds of stuff. Deal or No Deal, Willie Crash, Guitar Hero, which unfortunately is closed. And then in the middle here, they do have skee ball. And I'm so happy because they have been closing all of the skee ball machines, which I didn't understand. I always said, you do them in threes, why don't you close the middle one and keep the outer two open? Well, guess what? That's what they're doing now. Only the middle one is closed, so you can play skee ball once again. I'm really happy about that. Wanted to point out, you can go out the doors here. This will take you to the living room and Johnny Rockets. So this is the actual entrance, other entrance to the living room. We kind of came in from the other side, but you could go in there as well. And then as we turn and we head back here, we will find some additional arcade games. So they have like the Monster Ball Drop game there. They have the Lane Master Bowling Simulator, another curved banked air hockey table, and then another Lane Master Bowling as well. So right here in the middle of the two arcade sections, you will find the entrance to the Explorer's Room that I mentioned before, 6 to 8. I said we couldn't go in right now, but we can actually see through the window, and actually there aren't any kids. It's just closed right now. But as I said, it's a bigger play area, bigger activity area. They have a water dispenser in there, but that's where they're gonna find that. Now as we come all the way back past these other arcade games that we already saw, we will find two other venues. So we will find the entrance to the Voyager's Room, which is for ages 9 to 11, as the door says there. And they're gonna have one of the smaller areas. It's gonna be kind of like a big hangout area. You can see the big couches and stuff back there. But then next, you will find Fuel. I believe this is a teenager space in conjunction with the living room, so, which we saw back there. Fuel was always kind of called the teen disco. I think it's maybe where they would have like dance parties and stuff, but you can see like they have a juice and soda bar in there. They have little bar space around. Looks like they have some TVs and computers set up in there. They can play different kinds of games and stuff like that. So that's a space for them to use in there. All right, that was an undertaking once again, but I think we got just about everything here on deck 12. Let's continue to deck 13. All right, up on deck 13 now, and I'm using the digital display board because they don't have one of those other map boards that I've been using. But that's actually okay, because now I can tell you about these in case you don't know about them. They have these located on every deck right by the elevators and stairs. So you can click the different sections, what to do right now. Of course, we'll tell you different activities going on at current time. If you need to find your stateroom or restroom, you can do that. I'll put in our stateroom number, and it'll give me step-by-step directions as well as show me on the map. So take the elevator down to deck 6. Now it flips to deck 6 and it tells me to walk forward to our stateroom. So that's pretty cool, very handy. You can do the same thing with restrooms, cruise compass, all kinds of stuff on here if you need it. So, back to deck 13. This is an interesting one. If you remember earlier, I said about we were done with transversing around Studio B and stuff like that, but it would get interesting again on deck 13. This is why. Because it's split into two areas. You cannot walk across because they're elevated up above deck 12. So if you're here on deck 13 and you want to go to the forward part of deck 13, you'd have to go down to 12, walk across, and then go up. Also interesting to note here, when you see the map of the elevators, you see that they're only on the port side. There are no elevators on the starboard side. So if we turn around here, we see the elevator bay here on the port side. But if we come here to the middle and look through the windows, we see that the elevators only go up to 12 on the starboard side. There is no elevator bay over there. So just something to keep in mind if you're trying to navigate and get around. You do have stairs on either side, but the elevator's only on this side. Okay, enough of that. So we're in the back now. In the aft, let's head outside to the Perfect Storm sports deck. All right, right when we come outside on the sports deck, the first thing we're gonna see is the full-size basketball court. They do have the 2 rims and hoops at either end there, so you can get your basketball on. They also have the little soccer nets should you want to play that instead. Now back behind that, right when we come out, it's kind of hidden, is the rock climbing wall. So they have several sections set up. You can do your rock climbing there. Of course, that is included with your cruise fare. And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves again, but this is going to be the easiest way to point that out. So you'll see here the stairs that go up, and there's just an outdoor seating area there. Over on the starboard side, there's a similar thing as well. What these are outdoor seating areas for the various lounges. So here on the port side, this is the suite lounge for guests who are staying in a suite or Pinnacle level members of the Crown and Anchor Society. You can access the suite lounge inside on deck 14. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but that's the outdoor seating section for that. You can come down the stairs here if you want to go out. Over on the starboard side, that is the Diamond Lounge. So all levels of the Crown and Anchor Society that have reached Diamond, so Diamond, Diamond Plus, or Pinnacle, can use that lounge over there and come outside on that outdoor seating section as well. We'll show you where the entrances to those are in just a little bit when we go up to deck 14. But we're still here on deck 13, still lots of fun to be had, starting with the Perfect Storm, which are our water slides. And over here on the port side of the ship, we have Typhoon and Cyclone. So these are your standard body slides. You see they both start there at the top. They do a couple of loops around, come down and splash down here at the bottom. Now I did want to point out that both slides do go out over the side of the ship, which is always really cool. However, unlike other ships that we've seen these slides on, they do not have a clear section. So you're not going to be able to look out and see that as you go through. It is solid throughout. However, they do both have the slots with the different colors that allow the sunlight to come through. So you see the lines here on that one, or the dots up there in that section. The sunlight goes through and it looks like colorful lights as you're going through the slide. So that's cool. And here in the middle for deck 13, we do have the FlowRider, which of course is the surf simulator on board. They do have lots of stadium seating all the way around this FlowRider. It is just the only one FlowRider on board. Oasis class ships have 2. This one only has 1. This is where you can check in, sign your waiver, do all of that different stuff, and they have all the necessary information you might need to know right here on this board. And back behind the FlowRider, we see these stairs. These are where you access the water slides. So going up the stairs on the left, spiral staircase all the way up, takes you to the Typhoon and Cyclone, these body slides that we were just talking about. However, if you take the stairs on the right, on the starboard side, that is going to take you up for Tidal Wave. This is really cool because this is a unique water slide on board. First of all, you see the tubes here. So it's not a body slide. You're going to be riding in a tube either by yourself or with a partner. So you're going to grab your tube here and you're going to head up the staircase there. You're going to get in your tube. They're going to send you on the launch, which is going to come around. You make the curve like that. You keep taking it, and then you go down. Big dip, but that's not all. It's not just a big drop. What's going to happen after that? This is a boomerang style slide. So you're going to go back up and then come back down and splash down. I don't know of another cruise ship that has this style of slide. There may be one that I'm not aware of, but I believe it's the only Royal Caribbean one for sure. Tidal Wave is the name, so lots of fun there. They do have a bench here if you want to sit, and if you happen to come up and you don't see any tubes here, you'll usually see a line waiting right here to grab a tube as someone gets done with it when they get busier. It's a lot of fun. If you want more information on these water slides, be sure to check out our daily vlog in the Liberty of the Seas playlist, where we went on these and covered them in detail. Now before we head back in, here's a better look at that Tidal Wave. Again, boom, gonna go down the big drop, up the big ramp, and then back down to the splashdown. Another great look here at the rock climbing wall as well. And then that outdoor section over here on the starboard side, which, as I mentioned, is for the Diamond Lounge. Just some tables and chairs outside there as well. Okay, we need to go to the forward part of deck 13. So if you remember, that means that we need to now go down to deck 12, walk across, and then take the stairs up for the forward part of deck 13. Let's head there. Before we head there, I wanted to show on the map, you will not see any elevators listed here because all of deck 13 forward is outside. So we go on deck 12 and then we can take the stairs up that I mentioned earlier on either the starboard or port side, but there are no elevators. I'm gonna have to take the stairs. All right, back on deck 12 here, and we find ourselves forward. So we have a staircase on this side, we have a staircase on that side. That's the only way that we can get up to deck 13 forward. So we're gonna take these stairs up right now. So we ascend the stairs, we come up, and the first thing we find are all these different lounge chairs. So this is a great place to get some sun. If you wanna get away from deck 12 crowds, recommend coming up here in between these glass partitions that help block the wind. You can get your sun on. But really, what we're here for on deck 13 forward is the Liberty Dunes, which of course is the miniature golf course on board. It's a 9-hole course, so not a full 18, just 9, and it is exceedingly similar to other ships that we've seen with these newer style golf course. So all the fun nautical themed obstacles. You have the ramp, you hit up into the boat. You can play clam plinko over here, putt it through the lighthouse, putt it through the surfboards, all kinds of different stuff. They have the rock whirlpool swirl over there. So lots of fun, different kind of stuff you can do here on deck 13 forward. And while you're playing, you can take in the beautiful view all the way around front, starboard, and port. So that does it for deck 13 forward, which means deck 13 is complete. There is nothing else here, and we only have one deck left, deck 14. As you can see, there's nothing here in the forward. Deck 14 is only in the back, midship and aft. So we need to go back down to 12, walk back across, and then we can take the stairs or elevator up to deck 14. Let's head there now. All right, up on deck 14 now. I do have to make a slight correction to what I just said. I said there was one more deck after 13. There technically is another one. It only has one thing on it. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Here we are, deck 14. Again, nothing forward, nothing really midship, although these are the midship elevators, but just kind of here towards the back is where we're going to find stuff. So the actual slides are on deck 14. You just access them from deck 13. But really what we're here to see is on the inside area. So first, on the port side, we will find the suite lounge. So inside the suite lounge here, as the name would suggest, it's a lounge. So you're gonna have plenty of lounge space, table, chairs, couches, and you have the big floor to ceiling windows all the way around. And then towards the middle here, they do have kind of like the concierge desk, so to speak, where they can assist you with anything that you need. If you need to make a reservation or check on something, they can do all of that right there. They do have a small snack and drink section here, some ice water, coffee machine that makes espressos, lattes, cappuccinos, macchiatos, things like that. And there's some cookies out, lemon cookies, homemade cookies, and fresh fruit. And then this goes outside to that outdoor deck that I mentioned earlier. So I have table, chairs, day beds out here. Just a nice lounge space. You can go over there in the sun, or you can head down the stairs back down to deck 13. So heading back in towards the middle of the ship from the suite lounge on the port side, we will find Olive or Twist. So this is a big multi-function space, I should say. They use this for all kinds of things. So you're going to find tables and chairs throughout, of course. High tops, comfortable chairs, and down low. They have the large bar in the middle here. It goes kind of like all the way around there. And then they have the stage and performance area in the middle here as well. So they'll do karaoke, they'll do dance parties, they'll do different events up here. And it's tiered, so we're up on the higher section. You can go down to the lower section there, and you're going to have those floor to ceiling panoramic windows all the way around, so you can look out starboard side, port side, or straight ahead to the forward part of the ship in the pool deck area. Very nice. Now over here on the starboard side, we'll find the last thing we need to point out, which is the Diamond Lounge, or as this says, the Diamond Club. So again, this is for Diamond Plus, and Pinnacle members of the Crown and Anchor Society. Need your key to get in, so I'll swipe in and we'll head inside, take a look. So right when we come in on our left, we'll see the desk here. Much like in the Suite Lounge, they have kind of like the concierge that can help you with different things or check on your kind of anchor benefits, things like that. They also have some information posted here that you can grab, as well as a small section of books. So even though the library was closed, the Diamond Lounge has a small one that you can utilize. Over here, we'll find a coffee machine similar to the one we saw in the Suite Lounge, making those different drinks. You can also make some tea if you choose. They have some cookies out right now and fresh fruit, and then throughout the day they'll do, or later in the day they'll do like hors d'oeuvres and smaller kind of foods that they will serve to you. They'll also have a happy hour drinks and specials, things like that inside. You can also grab some ice water, and of course you have the lounge chairs, tables, couches all throughout. And then on the back side, the door's not opening right now, but you can go outside to the outer deck that we saw from deck 13. This one doesn't have like the big day beds like the Suite Lounge does, but it has tables and chairs and some couches as well. All right, so that's going to take care of deck 14. It does say here Viking Crown Lounge, which is, it's all Oliver Twist Viking Crown. It just kind of all flows together there though. But we saw all of these things. Now the last thing we see here is stairs up to Skylight Chapel, parentheses deck 15. So that was the mistake that I made. So you can see the stairs here. The sign up there says Skylight Chapel. I also want to point out that over on this side, over towards the starboard side of the ship by the Diamond Lounge, you will find another set of stairs, and this one does have an ADA chairlift should you require that. Now on ships that have received royal amplification, this area is no longer a chapel, it has become the escape room. But as I mentioned earlier, this ship has not received royal amplification. It was delayed due to COVID-19 shutdown. I'm going to talk nice and quiet. Okay, no one's in here, so I'm going to be respectful though. So yes, here is the Skylight Chapel with the natural light coming through the painted glass there, and they'll have different services, obviously religious services, or I guess if you had a wedding you could probably do something in here. Again, on ships that have received royal amplification, this area has become the escape room. And it's kind of interesting because we've done several escape rooms on Royal Caribbean ships, and I can actually feel the setup. When you come up the stairs, you're in this hallway here. They have the TVs giving you the instructions for the game. You come in the doors here, and there's usually a bay there and a bay there, and the main escape room stuff is here in the middle. So I can totally get the feel for the layout. This ship will hopefully receive royal amplification one day and get that escape room, but for now, it is the Skylight Chapel. All right, friends, that is going to do it for today's tour of Royal Caribbean's Liberty of the Seas. We hope you found it informational and helpful as you get ready to plan your next vacation. If you're interested in even more content from Liberty of the Seas, highly encourage you to check out our Liberty of the Seas playlist on our YouTube channel. It's going to have this ship tour, our room tour, daily vlogs, some information about the Galveston terminal and check-in process, lots of fun stuff going on there. And of course, if you're interested in coming on board Liberty of the Seas or another fine Royal Caribbean vessel, we would be glad to help make that happen for you. As travel agents, it would be our pleasure. It's completely free to you. We do not charge a single cent of any cost or fee, and your price will not increase whatsoever. So feel free to reach out via the travel agent information that you can find in the description of this video. You can also visit our website, hoffmanhappytravels.com. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Once again, I want to thank you for joining us for today's video, but we're signing off. We'll see you next time. Happy travels!